For Off the Block, I'm Vinny Lopes, and we are now joined by Penn State men's volleyball head coach Mark Pavlik after his team knocked off #1 Ohio State in 5 games. And Coach, know it's always nice for you when you beat your Big Ten brethren, but just talk about how your team was able to pull off this upset tonight against the Buckeyes.
Well, I think, first of all, you come into a match against the Buckeyes and you know you're going to be in a pretty physical match. You know they're going to be taking great swings. You know they're going to be teeing off from behind the service line. And, you know, what we came in with was Nathan Smith has kind of been shoved into the starting lineup with the injury to Braswell. And we wanted to make life easy for him. And I think our passers put some great pride and effort into just competing against their great servers. Pretty pleased. We gave up only 4 aces in a 5-game match to that team, and we made life easy on Nathan with the majority of our first contacts. And, you know, our left side hitters, Chris Nugent hitting something like 515 when I think everybody in the gym knew he's getting the ball, and Aiden Albrecht hit somewhere near 300. They just did they made life easy also for Nathan. So it was a good win tonight, good stepping stone. We've got 3 really important weekends coming up with the EIVA. Biggest one this weekend with New Jersey Tech and Princeton coming in here, who are breathing right down our necks in the EIVA. So we got to take the confidence and that we gain from tonight and just keep rolling with that through the weekend.
Well, I'm talking about tonight, and you mentioned it earlier in the passing. Was this the best passing performance you've seen from your team this entire season?
Yeah, and I don't know if it was in terms of quality of pass where, we were just perfect pass after perfect pass, but in terms of competing against their servers, I thought this was the best that this group has done all year long. We flat out competed against their servers. Now, and they were tough, but I don't want to take anything away from Ohio State. And I think this was, as far as taking some pride in keeping our offense going in terms of getting us settable balls against some great servers. Yeah, I think our passers kind of put on their big boy pants today and said, okay, let's make it happen.
Yeah. Well, and Coach, you talk about one player in particular, Chris Nugent, 19 kills on the night, hit 515. This is only his 4th match since returning from an injury where he missed a full month. How different is your offense with Nugent in the lineup?
I'd say it's a little bit more explosive. Chris has got a top caliber arm, and it's so quick. He's played a ton through his career here, so not much surprises him. I think, been very comfortable last year and into this year, knowing that everybody looks for him to get the ball, and I think he's really challenged himself on how he can get better and lead this team his way. With him on the court, it gives us an arm that can terminate positively for us.
And you mentioned it earlier, obviously Nathan Smith filling in the center position because you have a few injuries. As a freshman coming in that situation, how do you feel that he was able to really distribute the offense tonight?
Yes, I thought the offensive distribution was pretty good. We knew that if we started to really try to run middle, early on we might get them biting, and then Nathan got real comfortable with the pins and started to deliver to them. I like the distribution that he had. Nathan's a pretty smart kid. He's in pre-med in our Schreier Honors College, and he's somebody that processes things very well. And he and Ryan Walfall, Rye's our offensive coordinator, I think work very well together. And Nathan's been a sponge this year. It's very easy for an incoming freshman who is kind of the backup stutter to
Coach, I want to ask, it seems like one of the trends this year in college men's volleyball, for whatever reason, is we're not having a whole lot of upsets. We're having a lot of teams maybe force the favorite to 5 games, but they can't just seem to get over that hump and win that 5th game. But you guys today, you close out the match on a 4-1 run, get the victory. What does that say about the mentality of your team in the 5th game that you were able to pull it out?
Well, we've been in enough of them this year. And, I think that's something that you try to build a culture that when it gets to those times in matches, you don't question what you do or how you do it. You just do, and it's not easy. I'm certainly not professing to have the answer to that, but I think that there are times like this where you need to hang your hat on something outside of here's why we train, here's how we train, and understand that this is why we play the game. And to speak to your earlier point, then, about a lot of 5-game matches and maybe teams aren't finishing, but the fact that they're going 5, I think says a lot about the talent pool of across the country now. I think, I don't care whether you're NCSF, Conference Carolina, MIVA, EIVA, they've got guys on their team that are going to take good swings, and if you let somebody believe that they can win, there's enough talent out there that's going to take you up on that to prove you right. And maybe that was a little bit tonight, where the door was open and we wouldn't let it shut.
Well, Coach, you mentioned it. You have a big win today, but big matches this weekend with some EIVA teams coming in as you're battling for first place, taking on Princeton and NJIT. And I want to ask, obviously, that's a lot of season where you don't want to overhype one win, but what do you feel like a win like this tonight can do for your team's confidence going into those conference matches?
Well, it can do a lot of things. It can put you over the edge. It can tell you, people can take it as saying, that's the best match of the year, we're done. I think we talked about it after the match tonight. I think we're in a spot where we can't get too high and we can't get too low. We had a tough weekend out in Chicago this weekend, and, we're looking at that, looking at coming in to play the Buckeyes. And the thing that I liked was that Monday, after we got in the gym, we got Nathan some reps, everybody was feeling, there was a feel about the team that there wasn't a desperation. It was okay. Let's get back to work. And I think that just falls in with this is part of that process. You're going to have great wins. You're going to have bad losses. Everybody does. You just keep doing what you're doing and believing in your strengths and what you can do. And and you look forward to the next time you get the opportunity to compete because it's so much fun. And I just hope our guys are enjoying this ride, because it's a weird one with all the injuries and sicknesses we've had. Yeah. We'll see where it ends up.
Yeah. Well, final question. We'll let you go on this, especially talk about all the injuries. For your team tonight, only 7 players saw the court. I know this past weekend, it was a pretty short rotation that you were using. So with that being said, do you make any adjustments in preparations for this week, or maybe the amount of practice time that you have, stuff like that, knowing that you have 2 big matches this weekend, so everyone's fresh?
Oh, I think you got to look at not just this weekend, but you got to look at the next 3 to 5 weekends. And this is a time where you've got to be at your best. And I think you start monitoring the effort that the guys can put in. If they can keep it sharp, I'll keep it short. And we can, quantity doesn't really make your quality get better at this time of year. So I think we got to be careful with, let's not overtax them. Let's not keep pushing right now in a physical sense, but let's make sure that they understand here's the important stuff that really needs to get done over the next 3 to 4 weeks.